In 2014, I quit my job as a CPA in Italy and I moved to the United States to improve my English. This is how my entrepreneurial journey started, and since then, I've been focusing on growing myself to grow my business. In this podcast, I just want to create a collection of all the lessons that I learned through my mistakes and the success that came from the wins, going through all the stories, the fun facts, and the anecdotes that I've been experiencing through this journey. My name is Cristina, and let's start collecting picture memories. So tonight, the Healthy Italia podcast that is called Collecting Picture Memories, we have a special guest, my dear friend Ana. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her and why I decided to interview her. And then she's going to say more about her and about our friendship. And so basically, I met Ana in 2020 or beginning of 2021, but in middle of COVID. Because I got to know about a platform where you can study languages with tutors one-on-one. And I love learning one-on-one lessons. And Ana is a specialist in English pronunciation. That is my obsession. And you're gonna be thinking like, yeah, Cristina, you have a long way to go still. But Ana did a great job with me, and she keeps doing it with me. But it's funny because we're gonna share how our meeting for English purposes became a friendship that it looks like unreal because you feel like, oh, it's on the internet, it's through a language platform. But then we started to exchange Christmas gifts and we've been here for each other all the time. So it's real. Like when you receive a package and you see that, oh, it's not just in the computer. It's so fun and special, I would say. So welcome, Ana, on my podcast. Thank you so much for accepting my invite. So tell us a little bit about you. What brought you to talking English? Teaching English on italki, like on an online platform. Why have you made that decision? And just whatever you want to share about you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. And firstly, I love being your friend. So this is really fun because we both have a common interest in podcasting and a little bit of like media relations. So I would say just a little bit about my history. So I started out as a professional musician at age 12. I had my own business by the time I was 15 with performing. And my first instrument is my voice. My second instrument is the piano, and I'm a classical vocalist. So I sing opera in about 9 languages, and I'm high soprano. And I also play classical piano. So your basic Mozart and Bach and whatnot. And I had started teaching music at about age 18. And it was kind of funny because I remember the first conversation I had with my mom, and I said, oh, I think I'm just going to go back into music after university. And I'm just going to do music for my career. And she's like, oh, okay. And a lot of people would say, oh, you can't make a living being a musician. Well, that's not true because I had like a year-long wait list. I was able to help people express themselves, I think, through the arts. So what's really important to me, I guess, what transcends both disciplines, either English or the arts, is that communication is just about expression, right?
Absolutely.
So with you being my friend, I want to help you express yourself. So when I was teaching music, I thought, okay, well, I can help one person at a time with their personal expression to express their emotions, or through a song to say how they're feeling, or even to express the writer's emotions or something. But it just didn't feel like I had a big enough outreach. And I really was always interested in accents specifically, because music became just too easy. So opera became easy. Once you've done it, once you've performed in so many languages, it's okay. Well, that becomes way too simple. But then I thought, okay, what about accents? Because people move all over the world and they absorb different like qualities in their accents. And that probably isn't going to get boring.
Not with me.
Yeah. So what we did was we shut down we had two music academies in Florida. We shut them down. They were going very, very well. We decided to work remotely, and I found the italki platform. I really wanted to get into the topic of accents because when my family arrived here from Slovakia, they didn't have anyone to help them. They were feeling self-conscious, insecure. They didn't know who they could ask. They could ask for help, and so that really drove me to help other people. And my favorite thing is actually to perform the evaluations and the assessments where I can say, oh, I can hear that you spent a little bit of time in South America, or, oh, how was your time in China? And how long did you live there? I know that you're from Slovenia, but I hear some little bit of Chinese influence in there. So that part becomes really fun. So I think the reason just my background about why I'm the only person specifically able to do what I do in the world is because I received a medical diagnosis as a baby. And because of that medical diagnosis, I have superior hearing in one ear. So I can hear things that other people can't, and I'm cross-sensory, so I can see sound and how it moves through the body, or how your tongue changes positions, and then where the sound routes through the body based on like different variables. So I think that's really fun. And then I met you. I met you through that career change, which I was really, really excited about. So here we are.
Oh, I'm so happy. And while you were speaking, I was like memories came into my mind. And I'm a fan of finding your people in anything you do. Like you need to be surrounded by your people. And thinking of you, like I love the way you teach because I love drilling. So you don't know, guys, how many hours I spent drilling with Ana just on one sound. I think I spent 2 months just trying to perfect the short A. Not perfect yet, but it's better than the short I have to say, because in Italian, we don't have the short I sound. So for us, it's a nightmare all the time. But the short A, after 2 months, I started to get it. And I was walking and pacing my walk with the rhythm of the drilling. It's like, I think that people thought I was crazy, like my neighbors or whoever heard me. But to me, it's just a dream. And if the fun thing is that during the pandemic, I was telling Ana that I started to panic because I'm obsessed with growth and studying and learning new things. But I didn't shut down my business. I was the only one keeping my business alive, and I was doing everything I could just to survive. So the only time that I could study was at night. And Ana lives in Hawaii. So because of the different time zone, I was able to have classes with her at midnight or at 1 at night. And we were like, Christina, are you crazy? No, it just made me feel alive. And it made me feel I wasn't losing time, because in my mind, during the pandemic, everybody was home studying. Like, this is what I was picturing, with my dad telling me, do you really think that is everybody home at studying? I'm like, yeah, everybody's progressing but me. So I need to keep myself in peace and just study with Ana. And it's one of the best encounter I had in my life. And I'm so happy to have her always with me, because I don't know if you're listening to it, but if you are just listening, you can go to YouTube and see the video version of this podcast. She's always so smiling and cheerful that you can have a very bad day and then you have a class with Ana at midnight. The day is going to end like with happiness all the time. She has such a good energy that you want to have her in your life. But now I'm going to ask Ana something else, because the fun fact about her is that she's gonna ask you like, so how was your day? What are you working on? Like, what are you dealing with? And then you say to her that you have a problem with this, and she goes, oh, I can help you with that. So one time I had a bad like flu symptoms, or the flu. She goes, I can help you with the sinus. So I ended up for 3 lessons doing sinus release exercises that were helping me. And then one time I needed to edit a document, and she goes, oh, I do editing for a living, so I can help you with that. So any problem you have, Anna is the answer. So Anna, other than playing the piano, teaching how to teaching piano, teaching how to sing, teaching English, what else do you do?
That's really nice of you. So I do so just like this, how this is for publication. So I prep a lot of people for PR. So a lot of my online friends, so I always say friend first, study partner second. So my main idea is to support people. And a lot of my friends have to give big presentations to like huge webinars or at conferences. They could be a keynote speaker, or some of them go on the news for interviews and stuff. Well, they need someone to prepare them, especially if they're doing it in a second language. So what I will do for people is I will help them with their body language, with their speech notes. I'll edit their speeches for them. And then another thing that I really enjoy is cultural awareness. So sometimes you can say something in one language and it means something else, but then if you say that, or if you move your mouth in a certain way in the United States, for instance, it means something else to the to let's say Americans, or it means something else in California, let's say. So so I kind of like to I kind of like to proof everything and make sure it's all like politically correct, or there would be no negative repercussions from that. So that kind of goes a little bit into my marketing background. So I've been in marketing for about 15 years. I have a background in as a contracted model. I also have an acting background, but my most enjoyable maybe activity in my free time is just to figure out different ways to wow my audience. So whether it be in person or digital marketing, or somebody's giving a presentation, what is something that they've never seen before that's going to catch their attention? How can I make you remember this person? Or how can I make you remember me? So for me, like in any aspect that I'm working in, I think the first and foremost thought in my mind is, how can I make this memorable for the audience? And that can transcend into anything from writing and editing, speeches, pronunciation, body language, even like writing music. So making marketing ads for one of my friends. So I just I I think I want to help people make a splash.
Oh, and you are absolutely great in that, because while you were saying that, I remember that you helped me to prepare for something that it was really a dream for me, because I prepared an elevator pitch for an investor that I wanted to pitch, and I worked with Anna for 3 or 4 months to prepare this elevator pitch, make it long, and then shorten it out and pronounce it in the right way, cut it to have it in 60 seconds. And when she was saying like, now she said, I want to help people to make a memorable impact. The way I try to impact and make a memorable like introduction to that investor was with a pie. So that was my way of making him remember me. I baked a pie for him and he never got it. Like I gave it to his assistant. He never got it. And my elevator pitch was really good, but I didn't get a chance to give it to him back then. It was useful later on, but I tried to make myself memorable as well. It doesn't matter how. I'm embarrassing most of the time.
No, but I think though, what was really cool, like when we worked together on that particular project, was that think I think that it's your personality that people remember. And when we work together on any of your projects, I'm always kind of thinking like, okay, but how can we make this uniquely Christina, and how can we give her the space so that she can shine through this? So, because I remember like one of the times that you encountered your target investor, you said like, "Do you remember me?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good one." It's like, I didn't teach you to say that. You did that all on your own.
Yeah.
I was so proud. I was like, "Oh, like baby birds flying away."
Yeah. A long way. No, I mean, the reason why I bring people to my podcast is also because I want to share with my audience what makes me me. And what makes me me are the people who are in my life. I wouldn't say maybe daily, but weekly or monthly that I see it. And sometimes you forget how big of an impact people have in your life, because this is not the only time. I was thinking that back when I was rehearsing with you my introductory speech before my cooking classes, and we perfection the pronunciation, we change some words here and there, we like practice it for months, and then you were saying, Christina, you need to draw a picture. Like, when you talk about the mountains, you need to draw them. And I'm like, you know what, Anna? I should record a video. So after that idea that Anna gave me, I went to Italy and I hired like a video maker, and we record the video that now is on YouTube, but it's the introduction video for each of our cooking classes. I'm like, so how Anna has an impact on my life? Huge. So I'm so grateful to have her. And that's why I stress so much that each of us should go out and find your people, because we are meant to stay with many people, but not all the people are our people, and we don't think alike, we don't resonate. But when you find your people, they are gonna make your life better and they're gonna improve it. And with Anna, it's always like this. I always look forward to our classes, also because the way she have me improve my English is that she comes up with stories. She writes stories, we read stories, she's very creative. And then our friendship, as I said before, became real when I decided to send her Christmas gifts, because you're like, like she lives in Hawaii, and you think like, is she real? I don't know. And then every time that I say I have a problem, she has a solution. Like, what the hell is she doing? Like, how does she know? She knows everything. And she received it. It was great. And then that couple of months later, I got a gift. So I'm like, oh my God. So not even I can send it, I can also receive it. It's like so special. Like, I love it. And I know that Anna is also working for her podcast, so I'm very happy that this is our rehearsal for her. And like we try, so she experienced how it's going to make her feel recording a podcast. So Anna, tell us if you want to share what is going to be your podcast about, and what's the title of it? Can we share it? Too early? No, she doesn't want to disclose it. No, it's gonna be a surprise. Guys. No, that's okay. Where can people look out for on your website? Can I put your website, and you're gonna release it in a couple of months or when you're ready?
Yeah, thank you. So after, I'm going to have a co-host. So thank you. So after my co-host and I each have our own like interviews where we interview each other, we do have some breaking news that Christina will be our first guest, and we're very, very proud. And I don't have permission from my production team to say what it's about yet. But if you love Christina, you may want to be there to see what she says, because we have some really fun questions to ask her. But so she knows because she got the document. But
I'm sure it's gonna be great. And you can see the difference between her and I. Like, she's my person, but she's the perfectionist. If you're looking at the video, she's all like makeup done, hair done. Look at me. I'm always like, yeah, let's do it, whatever it is. But and it's same for the podcast. I don't have scripts. I just go with the flow. And then she's like, she has the questionnaire. She's all prepared, and I love it because it inspires you to become better. Like, I think that where we are different from the people we are surrounded by or from the people we meet, we can always be inspired by something. even if it's very different from us. Even if like, oh my God, I can never be a perfectionist like Anna, but it inspires me to be a little bit more perfect than the crazy I am so all the time. So thank you, Anna, for this one as well.
No, we have so much in common because I think we both love drilling. And one of the things I think that when I because well actually before I take on a long-term study partner, I will interview everybody and I kind of like psychoanalyze everybody before I agree to work with them. And so I remember asking you, so I was like, so how do you feel about drilling? And you're like, oh, I love drilling. And then I said like, I see a piano behind you. Is that your piano? And you're like, yeah, that's my piano. I was, oh, do you play? And then that was one of the first things actually that we connected on. So I knew like, oh, okay, because like I may not be the sharpest tool in the shed or the brightest crayon in the box, but I was thinking like, well, in order to play really, really good piano, you kind of have to be a little bit of a perfectionist yourself because you're not going to go on stage, let's say, and perform a line that's not perfect, right? So I thought, I bet she's going to be like my best friend, but I wonder if she knows. I wonder if she feels this best friendship the way that I do.
And then we also did like many times, like in downtimes, we throw cards, like the
Yeah.
spiritual cards, and then we
Hmm.
practice reading English,
Hmm.
like seeing what the spirits want to tell us. Like our classes are always really really fun. So asking a little bit about your classes, Anna. So what is the accent you like to train the most? Like I know that you work from people all over the world. Sometimes she goes like, "Bye, Christina, I'm going to China now." She's so fun. What is the most interesting for you, or the most challenging, or what you like
Like
the most?
like the accents that I love to work with, or the one that I teach, or the
The one
places
that we are
people
helping
come
people to
from.
correct, like.
Okay. Honestly, I think because of my family's, so I was born in this country, but I think because of my family's European roots, because I think I mentioned earlier, my family is originally from Slovakia. And anyone watching, you can see I definitely have like I have a very Slovak face. And so my favorite is actually, I think that Russian is very challenging, because it's a big country. People produce things in a lot of different ways. I think that's really fun. And I love most European accents. And I'm not saying this, Christina, just because you're my friend. I freaking love Italian.
No, you're not the
So
only
I
one.
love to sing in Italian. I love to hear you speak like in your natural way. And like do you remember that? When I first met you, you're like, I want you to help me with my accent. And I was like, I don't want to, but I will. Because to me, you sound so beautiful. And I was like, oh, but she's gonna make me ruin it.
Is my curse, I think, in life. Like everybody says, like, I love your accent. I'm like, great.
You know, you're like, I
I
don't want
wish I'm okay, but I really wish I could speak in a way that you don't say I love your accent and be able to turn on. But we're still working on it. And I
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, thank God people love my accent at least. Because imagine they would not like. I know it's part of me, but yeah, nobody wants me to get rid of it, so maybe I should stop. I don't know.
So I think, well, and it's one of those things like when you go through your accent training, and you'll hear when Christina speaks, you'll hear that she'll get this so she'll remember and insert it into the speech very beautifully. Um, and and it's something I think if you drill it a lot, you should be able to turn it on and off again. Just like if you learn some dance steps and you go on the dance floor, you can dance hip hop or you can dance ballroom or salsa. So it's just muscle training. So you you can still have the accent that you want, but just use it when you want to.
So
So
basically, you're saying that we should drill more. Great.
Oh, I don't know. It's my least favorite thing to do. No.
Oh my God.
I love it so much. So, okay, and Christina, I had a question for you. So, what so w- what inspired you? So you've lived here. So now how long have you lived in the US?
It's almost 11 years now.
And what inspired you? Because a couple of years ago we became friends. So what inspired you to start this, more professional English journey, like, studying with a kind of like a contractor almost. Um, what inspired you to pursue this in such an organized and professional way, after you've already lived in the country for a couple of years?
So thank you so much for the question. But basically is the reason why I came to the United States, because the reason why I decided to come here, actually I didn't plan to move. I just came for I plan to stay 6 months just to improve my English, because the English language is my passion since I was little because of my dad. He raised me telling me, you have to learn English because it's the language you're going to need your entire life. It's the only language they're going to understand in all over the world. So you need to know it. But in Italy, I wasn't using it. So I'm like, I want to go there and practice it. And then I think when I met you, it was like already 6 years that I was living here, but I actually didn't know there was somebody specialized in English pronunciation only, because you can find teachers who teaches you English, but I'm obsessed with grammar already. So I don't need to dive deep into grammar. Even if it's not perfect, I know the rules. I just wanted to speak better, because my dream, I'm also an entrepreneur. So my dream is one day to sit down to a table for a big deal and speak to the investors or like business partner and not feeling different.
Mm.
So this is what I picture myself, and I don't know if and when the day is gonna come, but I want to be prepared, and I always try to be prepared for what I want to do, and I love to prepare myself for something that I don't even know if it's gonna happen. That's why I started to learn Spanish for no reason, and one day I needed Spanish and I had it. So I'm doing the same with English pronunciation. I feel that one day I'm gonna be grateful and proud of myself for studying for so long. At least I don't embarrass myself and I don't embarrass somebody else, even if my accent is always gonna save me for what I can understand, because everybody loves it. It's what makes me me. But still, I know that everybody likes it, but I don't wanna be classified like, she's the Italian one. Like, great, but I can talk to you. Like, I know what you're saying, and I want to be equal. That's the reason why.
And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. What because and you did cover a lot about finding your tribe, finding your people, setting your goals, working towards them. And what I also want to mention is that you have had some had some breaks also between, like, when you're studying and then things get really busy and then I may not see you for a little while. And I'm always thinking like, oh, she'll be back, she'll be back. And then you may have a couple of weeks or a couple months off and you're back again. So I would just say for everybody out there who's listening to Christina right now, remember that Christina is doing this and she's doing this with a long-term goal in mind. So the beautiful thing that I love about Christina's heart is her dedication. So even if some time passes, she is consistent and she keeps coming back and we keep drilling and things go more and more into her speech more naturally. So I just want to tell you, really good job there, because where so many people make the mistake is they say, oh, I'll go back to it. You can't believe how many times I've heard that and how amazing it is when Christina says she'll be back. she'll be back.
Oh, I mean, thank you so much. I'm like, when I say something, I love to keep my word. Like, to me, is very important. And your speech right now reminded me of my, oh my God, all the dots connected. My piano teacher. When I was little and I was taking piano lessons, I was so bad. I was never studying, and I was studying 2 hours a week before class. So
Mm.
if I had class at 3, I would study from 1 to 3 and then go to class. And then whatever I learned, I learned. And she, of course, she was finding it out. And she goes, Christina, trust me, half an hour every day or even 15 minutes every day is going to make more than 2 hours before you come here. That is completely wasted. And I mean, I didn't do it back then, but the lesson is instilled in my mind. And then that's why I'm persistent, because it's like constant things. Like you keep doing it. Doesn't matter. I mean, life gets in the way, but if you have like the goal in mind and you keep doing it, it's persistence and consistency that pays back. And I'm so happy. Thank you so much for sharing that. But this is who I am in everything I do. And because you have people like you that keeps you on track, I would say. Yeah, I reach out, but she's there. So I'm very, very happy. So last question for you, Ana. I'm curious. Tonight, I'm going to be curious about who you get in contact with. I know that you see many people, as I said before, from all over the world. What is the most, I would say, the most the weirdest, or the most special job of the people you work with? Like, I know that you have people from all over the world. Like, what do they do? Who reaches out to you other than crazy people like me obsessed by pronunciation?
No, thank you. I would say like I have a lot of friends who are these are my study partners, but they're very good friends of mine. So I do have a lot of friends that are doctors from around the world. They're preparing to either go to the United States or to any country where they have to speak English instead of that country's maybe even native language. So the whole staff may speak English. So I also I've had a lot of people in different governments from around the world. I will say full disclosure, I do not work with every government. I work only with I work only with democratically friendly governments. So I'm so sorry, but if you're listening and you're from a non-democratic government, there may be there may be some restrictions, but mostly I'm very friendly towards everybody. But I have a lot of friends I have tons of friends in China, tons of, regular civilians over in Russia. I run a volunteer program for Ukraine. So I have a lot of friends in Ukraine that I do not charge classes for. And when that conflict started, because half of my family is Ukrainian, we started a one to one program. So when we would get someone from Ukraine who needed help with their English, I would also open that up to one spot from Russia who was
Wow.
also financially struggling. So our scholarship program, and we do it kind of based on an interview, based on some interview criteria. But we want to make sure that the people who really, really need help, I want to reserve my volunteer hours for them. So I do have some lawyers from around the world. So I would say just kind of like some of these maybe high profile positions.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Some ambassadors and diplomats. So I can't say who or from what country.
No, 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 no. I was just curious. Like, you never know what people do. Like, I teach you to make pasta, so.
Yeah. So it is like it's a strange field because you don't know anyone's story until they're on your schedule. And I would say that I've met people from virtually like all over the world. Everybody's really cool. The online community is my true family, I would say. So thank you, Christina, for being thank you for being in my family.
Thank you for being part of my life. I mean, I think that everybody needs an Anna in their life, as a person, as a teacher, as a cheerleader and a supporter, because she's always my first supporter for anything I share that, oh, I'm working on this project. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. How can I help you? So I'm going to leave, guys. I'm going to let Anna go, but I'm going to leave you guys her contact information underneath the description of the podcast, so you can reach her out to her website in case you need anything. I'm not going to tell you what she does. Like, do you have a problem? Reach out to Anna. She's going to be the expert in solving that problem. Thank you so much, Anna, for joining me tonight. It was a pleasure in talking to you, and I look forward to be your guest the next time.
Thank you. And I really love your canned asparagus. I think everyone should get that. It was delicious. Or was your jarred asparagus. I give it 5 stars.
Thank you, Anna. Bye.
Surprise! We weren't done yet, guys. Now we're being naughty.
Yeah, now we're gonna draw a card. Let's see what the spirits are gonna tell us. Like, okay, what are we asking? No, we don't have to ask. They're gonna just tell us.
This is our real friendship, so like, why not? This is who we are.
Yeah, we thought you would be interested in what we usually do.
We're not done yet. Okay, I'm just shuffling to clear the old energy out of these babies. Okay. So, Christina. So we're gonna cut it in thirds. And so we always do. Okay, so you have A, B, and C. What order do you want?
I want A.
You want A? To go where?
In the middle of B and C.
B and C. Got it. Okay. Woo, very fun. And then do you want to do our regular way where I show you the card and then you say if this is your card or not?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Is this your card?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. And you remember, I never look. I'm always looking to the sides. I don't know what it is.
No.
Okay.
This is it.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. It's in protection mode.
Oh.
And this is the crumbling.
Oh my God.
The crumbling. So this one, okay, so this is like a rock wall. And all of the stones are falling. So this says, what are you clinging on to? So this is in protection mode, which, right, it means that it's something that you're letting go to like make space for something else. And have you ever gotten this one before?
No.
Okay, but you do have this deck at home, right?
I do.
So you can read from the book.
Absolutely, I will.
And would you feel comfortable telling, like letting go of something? And like, is there any advice you can give to your listeners? Oh,
it's right on point. I was just debating if I had to let go one of my employees or not. And she just let go herself. And so that makes space for somebody new to come in. So right on point, like the spirits are never wrong. So
interesting.
My card, absolutely my card.
Oh, and that was so fun because I really felt I was like the whole time I like had this feeling in my stomach, and it kept like picking, like, tell her she needs a card. Tell her she needs a card. And I was like, what if she doesn't want a card?
I always want cards. I always want cards.
Thank you. That was so fun. Okay, so
much,
when you go home, check your booklet.
I will.
See what
absolutely.
Oh, it was so good to see.
Bye for real now.
Aloha.
Bye.
Mahalo.
If you like this podcast and the topics I'm talking about, and you want to know more about what I do, you can follow me more on our social media accounts. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Facebook under the Healthy Italy account. I'm not very active on social media on my personal account, so you won't find that much. But you can see me on the Healthy Italy account. So it will be wonderful to meet you there. And if you find that what I'm talking about it could be helpful for anybody, you're more than welcome to share the podcast with your friends or whoever you think might benefit from it. Thank you so much. It means the world to me.